Is it
Oh,
four?
yeah, episode 4. We've done loads.
We've done loads, mate. And we've been consistent. Episode
Yeah.
4.
And we've
Welcome.
got amazing listeners who send us lovely messages about how great our podcast is, which is very much appreciated.
I know. I can't start every podcast swooning because that'll just be too much. But yeah, appreciate it when people are like, oh yeah, it's like listening to friends and being included in a great chat. It's so good because I think at the same time, I don't know, I'm hoping you feel the same, but I feel like we are forging a great swimming friendship at the same time as like just creating a podcast. Having a weekly check-in with a friend is just an absolute privilege, really.
Yeah, I think generally being able to do any sort of work with friends is really great because, I mean, you're going to also be filming my swims this year, and knowing that you're going to be on board, you know, bringing energy is chef's kiss.
You haven't seen me in ultra support mode yet. It's like a completely different persona. No, it's not. It's exactly the same. For Michael, it's different because I have to turn into, I think it's probably ultra run support for a partner is different.
Yeah.
And I think there's different levels, isn't there? But with Michael, I treat him like he is a 4-year-old child incapable of doing anything. So it's like as soon as he comes in and he looks absolutely knackered and he's got, I don't know, muddy shoes or muddy thing, I always know I have to dress his feet. It's like, sit down, get down. What do you want to eat? What do you want to drink? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
By the sounds of it.
I know. Doing it too long now.
Yeah.
But how are you doing? How has this week been since I spoke to you last?
It's been okay. I think for a while I've been really struggling and I haven't really spoken about it because I've had to process it to then be able to articulate it in a way that is good for public consumption. But I've been really burnt out from my job. And I'm not allowed to say what organisation I work for because I signed something to say that I can't make money from affiliation with my organisation, but I mean LinkedIn is available for anyone who wants to have a look. But
Anyone
I
wants
work
to
exactly, yeah. But I work in the conservation sector and I work in campaigning, and I have loved it and really care about the environment and the cause. But I've been so burnt out because of internal issues at work, and you know, doing extra things outside of work, and ultimately it's just sort of pushed me to an edge. So I left my job. Well, I haven't left it properly. It is a week tomorrow from when we record. So by the time this comes out, it will be the week of me leaving my job. And I actually don't have anything to go on to, which is mentally quite a difficult position to be in. I haven't got millions behind me. I would keep saying to my parents, oh, hey, now's the time. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm humble now. Look, a woman of humble means, you can now stop pretending and tell me you're billionaires. This is the time. Let's stop the shit. You can tell me you're millionaires. I've done that. They laughed. Okay, they did not oust themselves as secret rich people. So how dare they?
How dare I not be a trust fund baby? And they've just wanted to keep me humble for this long, and that actually the money is there.
Exactly. Like, I got a tism, but it wasn't nepotism, okay? I got the wrong tism. And so for that, I'll just consider it when I'm putting them in a care home. It will just be not as great. It might be a shed at the end of my garden. If I can afford a garden at this rate, I say that I have a roof over my head. So I consider myself blessed. I've got a roof over my head. Food will still be in our mouths. But I'm really I've just been really struggling with work. And consequently, because I'm leaving, I've really struggled with guilt. Because I care so much about the cause, but I'm like, does this mean I don't care enough because I'm just leaving because I'm struggling mentally? And so I'm then looking for other ways. Like, I'm ultimately going to go freelance. I'm going to go freelance, and I'm going to, not content creation. We're not talking like I can quit my job to become a content creator. I'm lucky enough to be able to have an ins with businesses as a result, to be able to do content creation with them for their businesses, and also follow some other creative projects. So lots to come. But otherwise, yeah, I've just been really struggling with like not feeling creative, not feeling like I have the agency to do the things I want to do, or have that freedom. And I think I've been struggling with that a little bit since I started managing a team, because I've had to sort of be on top of their work rather than be able to then have the time to follow and pursue other bits I want to pursue, because there just isn't the time or resources or capacity ever in a charity, you know, even to just do my normal work, I was working beyond the 7.5 hours a day I was doing. And everything I was looking at to try and mitigate it and make it better was not helping. So things like trying a 4-day working week. And I think ultimately I just want time away to reconnect with the cause, reconnect with my creativity, have a bit of freedom, because I mean, we're always told this, hey, you're a young person, go to university, then get a job, then get married, then have kids, then die. No, then retire, then die. And I also, but we're sold this idea of what life should be. And I know that there's a number of other people my age who I have friends who, you know, one of them, her and her partner recently have just gone traveling because they were like, one of them was made redundant. The other one was also suffering from severe burnout because they're a teacher. And they were like, we need to go. We need to just do something, take ourselves out of this space, because we can't just keep working ourselves to death every day, you know, forever. And I met a guy at the swimming pool, and he's an older guy, and he's just retired, and he was so looking forward to retirement. He was, you know, months ago he was telling me about all these great things he wants to do in retirement, and I was like, yeah, go get it. And then I recently found out that he's had a terminal cancer diagnosis, and he's only just retired. So we're talking like you work all your life to then go, and I don't want to depress our listeners at home per se, but you know, live life is the motto I think here. Live life now, and that's certainly what I'm gonna try.
And that's exactly it, because I think for me, I'm quite lucky in the fact that, well, I mean, lucky is probably the wrong word, but I had my car accident, hit me for 6. I was very much in that career driven, wanted to go this. I've never been the type of person that was like, I'm going to get married and have kids, because that's just something that's just not been in my timeline. But I'm quite glad that my brain's wired that way. But that doesn't make freelance any less scary either, because I was in kind of a contract to contract work before, used to work in telly, and then I got signed off with burnout. Or I was seeing my paralysis demons in the day. So that's how run down and stressed I was. And then was told that if I couldn't hack it, to leave by the person in charge. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go. I didn't really have a choice. And I think a lot of people say that freelance life, it's like, oh yeah, it's amazing. You can do whatever you want all the time, and you can do this and this. When in actual fact, the amount of freelancers that choose to be freelance, and like the idea of you saying, oh yeah, I'm going to be freelance now, it isn't a choice. In reality, your body's made the choice for you, because you need that extra space to be thinking about your body and your energy levels, and if something serves you. And it's not about being woke, and it's not about, you know, the kids today can't do any work. It's actually the amount of pressure, the amount of information that we have just is exponential. Like the ability to still care about something so much that you're worried that you're not caring enough, even though you're in burnout. Like we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
But I think we all just need to step back, even if we can, for a moment, just to be like, what's important right now? I've got a roof over my head, I can eat, and at the same time, we're here to live. Like, it's that Australian saying, isn't it, of it's work to live, not the other way around, because we're very much live to work in this country. And it's like, it's all hours, it's all consuming. And I'd love to say that freelance life's not like that, but it really is.
No, I am aware. I have a lot of known unknowns, like tax, accounting. I'm a creative person. I do that does not naturally lend myself. I can do numbers.
All I'm going to
I
say,
like shopping, but
spreadsheets are your friend.
I've already set up a spreadsheet because I was like, I'd rather get ahead of this than find I've done something wrong and then find I owe someone lots of money or something. Like,
that's the thing.
Yes, but I'm also because I work hard. I know I work hard. I do good work. I'm just trying to really embed into myself the idea that if something is right for me, it will work as hard for me as I work for it. And for the last number of years that I've worked in the charity sector, and I've been involved in the charity sector for years, and our cold water hot take is also about burnout. So it's very on note for us today. But I've been in the charity sector for years, and I've seen it done well. I've seen it done terribly. And So now I just want to sort of embed in myself some better practices. I've already connected with a couple of like charitable organizations that I want to, you know, just volunteer with. You know, I really want to reconnect with being outdoors again, because whilst I'm working for nature conservation, I'm sat at my desk all day. Like, and then in my spare time, if I then want to look after my mental health and spend time in nature, that's on me in my hours of the day where I'm not working. So it's, yeah, just lots has been going through my head, lots of processing. It's made me really glad that I'm then surrounded by people who are amazing, because I was signed off for stress for like 3 weeks. And then I've had a phased return to then leave, essentially. And in that time, when I've told people I've been signed off for stress, and, you know, I've had comments about how I'm quite high functioning when dealing with stress, because I won't like betray it to other people. I won't tell other people necessarily, oh, hey, I'm really stressed at the moment, because I don't want to worry other people either. And it's really difficult then when you're trying to be empathetic and kind to other people, but then also being kind and empathetic to yourself. And so I've really noticed who has been there for me in those moments where I'm like, shit, I'm at a really low moment in life right now. This feels really bad. And who's been there for me and who's supported me, and like who I work with who's then gone, oh, hey, I can offer you paid work. When you're out of your full-time job, I can offer you paid work. So yeah, making sure I really nurture my relationships with those people and keep them close. So first of all, thank you, Becca, as one of those people who has really been there for me. But
the thing is, I think it's one of those things when you've experienced it, you know how lonely it can be, because people just go, it'll get better, you'll be all right, you'll be back to work in no time. You're like, well, no, that's not how your body works sometimes.
No. And I did so well when I was signed off for stress. The reason, because I was off for 2 weeks initially, and I had a call with the doctor, and they were like, you're doing really well, we're going to keep you off another week, because my resting heart rate had gone down by 10 beats per minute. An eye twitch I had gone. And most of the time I didn't realise it'd become so normalised. And I'd been able to find time to be able to, you know, rest longer and not feel like I'm in a constant state of panic, really like calm my nervous system. And they were like, yeah, we'll keep you off another week and then we'll do a phased return. And big up that doctor as well, because I felt like going in, it felt like I was giving up. It felt like I was, you know, somehow weak, but they didn't make me feel that way at all. And so I know I also have to do a lot of work around negative self-talk, which has always been a problem for me. It's why I didn't start doing social media 6 months after I'd swam across the English Channel, because it took me that long to really build my confidence up in my swimming, which is mental. To think, oh, it took 6 months after swimming the English Channel for me to go, I'm actually quite a good swimmer now, I might start posting about it on social media. What?
You're not on your own in that, though, because I was the same when it came to like guiding in the winter. I felt like I was a complete, I don't know, what's the word? That I just wasn't qualified enough because I hadn't done an ice mile. It's just like, yeah, sure, that's weird. Like, what? Why do we think like that? Why do we overqualify ourselves into oblivion before we feel like we're worthy of something?
Yeah.
Especially when it's something.
Oh, sorry, go on.
What's that, my love?
No, there's a lyric. Lizzo, why are men great till they got to be great? Whereas, you know, I mean, women generally self-disqualify themselves more often. There's stats around it being for job interviews and like applying for jobs. They want to make sure women apparently want to make sure they tick every single box before they apply, whereas men will go, well, actually, there's a couple of these that apply to me, so I'll go for it anyway. And I think the same absolutely applies in swimming too, where people go, I'm not so sure about that. I get most messages about whether or not people are ready for the English Channel from women. And which is funny because I've also heard stories from coaches of men who've gone, the furthest I've swam is 2 kilometres, but I've just been able to bag an English Channel slot for next year. Can you help me? And that's what some coaches are dealing with. And then I had somebody message me the other day who is a woman in the open water swimming space, and she's done loads and loads of like marathon plus, so like 10 kilometre plus swims that are all really good in choppy conditions and things like that. And she's like, what more do you think I should do before, you know, to swim the English Channel? Do you think I'm ready? And I was like, yeah, you're ready. I'll make the booking for you. I can't, because again, like I'm not rich, but like, dude.
So
honestly, yeah, So negative self-talk, bad. Stop it.
Stop it.
What are you doing at home? What are you doing? No negative self-talk. You are amazing. We're all trying our hardest. Life isn't easy for anyone. We're all doing our best.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
Don't be terrible to yourself. Yeah.
We're all human at the end of the day. And I think a lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay, do I want to work until 10 p.m. at night because my boss told me to? No. It's also kind of balancing yourself, because if you keep doing that day on day, I mean, so high functioning, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. You are, because honestly, working with you as well, you come to things with so much energy. Like I forget regularly, and I have to be like, no, Becca's dealing with loads of shit. Becca's got it tough. Be nice. Not that I'm ever not nice, but like
Adele is a bitch off mic. Absolutely awful to me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I'm me? Yeah, no, never. But it's one of those things, isn't it? Like you never know what other people's experience, like life experience is. You never know like what other people are going through. Like, I mean, at one stage I wanted to just work normal hours and tried to get out of the freelance lifestyle, but no one believed that I wanted to leave. They were all just like, well, no, there's no point. Like, what? You've got a freelance life, you do all this stuff, then what? Because I want stability. I want to be able to do, like, I want to know when I'm working, when I'm not, to have some structure.
Yeah. To have a payday where you can be like, oh, this is the day.
This is the day.
This is it, the day of money.
Yeah. And I tried that a few times. Well, I say a few times. I applied to like 50 different jobs, and just the ones that I got through, I would sometimes have an interview, and then it would be, actually, we think that you're just going to go back to freelance life. And you're like, okay. Or you were overqualified for a position because people didn't, that's the other thing. You think that you're not qualified enough, so you overqualify yourself, and then suddenly it's like, oh, actually, no, you're overqualified for this. Because I think people don't, what's the word? People don't believe, I suppose, that you would take lower wage and less responsibility. They just don't believe that that's something that you would want to do. And you're like, yes, that's absolutely something where you can just turn your brain off and not have to think about blah, 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 all the time. Like last week, I had semi time off where I did go out, and Michael had the week off too. And one of the days, Michael was even like, what are you talking about now? Oh my, what's that? What's this about? Hang on, are we talking about a different subject? And you're like, yeah. And he's just like, how does your brain work? I was like, well, yeah. And that's, how does my brain work on top of pain? Like on top of having chronic migraine. It's like, imagine. I think I've been given this handicap to try and slow down. Could you imagine I think that's one thing that I find quite hard. Well, which I found it quite hard over the last year, is kind of like grieving that kind of pain-free life, because doctors have told me that that's something that I may never experience now, which is horrific to hear. But at the same time, you're like, well, maybe it's a chance to actually give myself a break as well, and to be like, you know what, you do need to take more time out. Yes, you are high functioning and that's great, and power. But at the same time, I am also like, I am guilty of that negative self-talk. I'm regularly shouting at myself. And you just think, well, actually, maybe I need, as Coach Beard says, grab myself some scissors and cut myself some slack. And I think we both need to do that, mate. We're going to be accountability sisters for that.
Yes, we absolutely should be, because it doesn't. I mean, especially when you're a freelancer, you have to sell yourself. You have to regularly promote yourself and be able to talk yourself up.
Absolutely it. And for anybody listening, if you're not freelance, then it's like being at an interview all the time. That's what it's like. It's sending those emails, or it's promoting yourself online, or it's trying to be the best you can be every day. And I think, and also this is quite nice to say to you before you embark on freelance life, that even that is relentless. That energy is relentless. And try and fit in a structure of normal 9 to 5 where you can. Because that's something that I am still trying to do, but still failing at it a little bit. But, I'm learning. I think for me, my turning point was Rachel Ross, who is, well, Rachel Sarah online, who was the director and filmmaker who made I Smile, which is my film that was made about me. And when she came to film my life for a year, she was just like, mate, there's too much going on. And she's such a good friend of mine now. Like love that woman to pieces. But it's when you meet somebody else and they're also in that kind of creative freelance space and they go, what you're doing is lunacy, effectively. You need to just take a beat, maybe say no to a few things, and the power of no is powerful. So yeah, you don't have to say yes to everything just because you need money. And yes, there will be times that you have to say yes and you don't really want to, but you just put you put your price up and then they'll pay it if they have to. You'll work it if you have to.
Excellent. Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's really helpful. And also seeing, because you're one of the most resilient people I know, considering everything you deal with and then everything you do, it is mind boggling. So absolutely. I mean, I see you as like a boss bitch. Like you're like, this is the person I want to be doing freelance like. And I don't know if it's like word of mouth, but like other people are also doing that shouting for you. And I think there's something there about being so good. And I want people to see me and my work as so good. And I know that I'm not there yet because I haven't done it yet to be able to showcase what I can do. But certainly like that's what I aspire to. And that's what you're doing. You're like a role model to me.
Oh, stop it. Thank you. I mean, I think it's a lot of confidence. It's a lot of just building up and doing the thing. And I mean, there's people to me that I aspire to be like, and there's people, and I think as well, being in a creative space, other creatives are just incredibly generous. There's a girl called Lauren who is Loz Visuals. I'll give her a shout out. Loz Visuals on Instagram. She's absolutely incredible. She's based in Bristol. And she does a lot of kind of high rocks athlete creative stuff. She has been absolutely amazing to me. I know her through a friend, Amelia, who she's a PT in Bristol too. And she's her fiance. So it's all kind of worked around that. But anyway, I'm getting off point. But that's how I got to know her. And she's also a creative and photography and sports videography. She's helped me loads. There's another guy, Paul Perkins, who I went to college with. He's always happy to lend an ear about when I'm talking about kit or if I'm talking about this, and this. And I mean, I could literally go on. Like there's Rox, Frit, there's Rachel. Like there's so many people that just go, do it. Or have you tried this? Or have you tried that? And I think for me, I love capturing. If I could stand behind a camera all day and just take photos, that's what I would do. Videography is something that's come out of it because it's almost a necessity because people want it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get better at that. But photography is where my love lies. And just being able to capture a moment, it's almost like mindfulness, but make it creative. And people say you won't work, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember what the thing is. It's like, if you enjoy what you do, you don't work a day in your life. But that is complete bollocks. Like, you work every day of your life. But if you enjoy it, then it kind of takes some of the edge off. Yeah. So, and I think I'm that type of brain where I like the challenge, and I like to, if I don't know how to edit something or I want to be able to try something new, then I'll try and like hunt down a YouTube video to try and figure out how to do it, or just work around.
Goodness. But Becca, how are you?
Oh God, we're 30 minutes in. Wow.
I know, we're doing a lot.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment I'm on a bit of a slump, I would say, mentally. But I think that's just because because I took a week off, like semi-week off last week, and it was just so lovely to get out and do things and not have to think about work too much. And I think also being able to take the time off and then realise that everything didn't burn down around me because I didn't do any work. So that was quite good. And it was so lovely just to be out and about with Michael. Truth be told, after our first day, it was 6.5 hour walk we did. And this always happens with me and Michael. It's either we take the kit for a walk and it never we never find a swim spot that's swimmable, or we end up on a really long walk that was only supposed to be a short amount of time. So, yeah, all of us were really stiff after it. It's the longest I've walked in forever. And I think I spoke about it on the last pod, actually. But yeah, the knock-on effect of that, I was like knackered for the rest of the week, effectively. We didn't really do much after that. It was quite nice. But I think taking that time out has made my mind shift a bit, because I want to be able to do those walks more without feeling like my lungs were going to explode. A line that's gone down very well on social media recently is, I say I have the land fitness of a profiterole. And that's kind of where I'm at. And I just want to be able to do more. And as I said, like with the high functioning shit and like being in pain and all this, I now want to start trying to fuel my body in the right way. So I've been speaking with Bryony. Eve swims. Bloody shout out to that woman. Big up Bryony. She's absolutely amazing. And we had a chat the other day about nutrition and talking about what my body might need. And that's what she's currently training to do. So I'm like her guinea pig, which I'm very grateful for. And just talking about, and it's not necessarily wagered on weight loss. It is wagered on fueling my body so it can do things, because I want to get in the gym. And it's a bit of a mental barrier for me to get in the gym as well. When I'm there, well, give me a week and I'll love it. But I have to almost get through the doors first. Yeah. I find that really hard space to be in. I haven't been to the gym since last, I don't know, probably August. And I just want to get back in, because that is one of those places where when you start lifting and doing all the stuff, you just feel strong and all the good stuff, the endorphins, and they've got a cracking sauna.
Ooh, say less.
I know, right? Really good cold shower as well, so you can just keep doing rounds of sauna. So that's what Michael tried to get me back in last week, but there's such a mental block about getting in through that door that I want to do it on my own the first time. But I also am at the minute, I'm just not eating right, so I need to push myself, and I want to do it the right way. So Bryony is helping me fuel that and trying to get out of my own way, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we're at. I am trying to prioritize me a bit more, but again, easy said, but when you're trying to action it in a freelance life, I feel like I land back on that excuse so much. I'm just like, oh, well, I'm freelance, can't do that. Even though I've been binge watching blimmin' Bridgerton while I'm editing photos. And you go, well, if I'm doing that, then surely if I wasn't watching that, I'd be able to get this done and be able to actually do something for my mental health, rather than just, I'm such a binger. I need to stop.
I mean, Bridgerton, women are really good at multitasking. And so it's quite easy for us. Like when I'm doing my pod edits, and I've put like videos of it on my story, I have a walking treadmill that goes underneath my desk. I could look at me, I could walk myself fit whilst I'm working. And obviously that hasn't happened, dear reader. That's not happened. But like women are so much better at multitasking. I mean, I sometimes in the background, and this is probably ousting myself a little bit here, will watch, because now wrestling is on Netflix. I sometimes like the WWE, like Raw, the Tuesday night wrestling they do, because they have so much energy, and sometimes it's quite infectious, and it just pumps me up a bit while I'm doing some other bits and pieces, which can be quite helpful. But sometimes you do just need to lock in and focus. But I mean, I always started training in the mornings, because I knew if I didn't do it first thing, like if I have to go at the end of a work day to go to the gym, it's not happening. So if I wake up, get it done, I now don't need to worry about it. And I'm now somebody who loves the gym. Sometimes when I'm really deep in swim training, I miss doing gym training as much, because I love the endorphins I get from it. I love being able to, I use quite powerful lifts. I use most of my reps are done at, I do each set about 6 reps. Mm-hmm. To focus on strength rather than like the whole like hypertrophy, like the aesthetics and the bodybuilding side. But I mean, I love it. But it is really difficult because then if I'm doing swim training the next day, I'm like today, I was squatting yesterday. So today my legs have been fucked.
Yeah.
I was swimming and I was doing, luckily it was a technique session because I was then like, yeah, focus on what my arms are doing. But my legs were there just like, let's not move.
Let's not do that.
Yeah. No, Bryony's excellent though. I mean, as a friend of Bryony, even being around her, hearing loads of her nutrition advice, it's also really done in like a really healthy way.
Yeah.
Because you'd think, because she's obviously so strong,
Oh my God, yes.
and also doesn't have, for how strong she is and how much she doesn't have a huge amount of body fat. So then, you know, one time she turned up to me with a cinnamon bun. And I was like, she's obviously training me like a little dog, because then I now will get excited every time I see Bryony because there's a baked good in store. And you know what? It's effective. If you want to train your friends, bring them baked goods. But it's that really, like, it's a really healthy approach because she does talk about how you still need carbs. And
Yeah.
it's refreshing as well, because so often I hear, oh, you don't need carbs. Oh, you don't need this. And it's so absolutist. Let's just chill out. It doesn't need to, because it's already stressful. We've already mentioned it's already so stressful enough in life. Just doing normal day-to-day shit, whether that's taking kids to school, whether that's walking the dog, whether that's, oh shit, don't forget to do things to look after my mental health. Gotta make time for that. Do I have time in my diary? Of course not.
Yeah.
There's already enough shit going on without also then putting more pressure on yourself around nutrition. So I'm really glad that you're getting help for that. I will very much look forward to hearing about how it's going, because I myself probably am highly likely in need of nutrition advice more generally. But yeah, I'm really glad for you, mate.
Me too, mate. Me too.
Right, in that case, it is time for cold water hot takes. Okay, so on the topic of burnout, because I've been thinking a lot about burnout recently, and particularly around sewage pollution. Because obviously there's so much, and don't get me wrong here, not everyone identifies as an activist, not everyone identifies as political, but often even things like, you know, when you're going for a swim, having to consider whether or not there's pollution in the water ends up being political, because it's the government that has ultimately controlled, or consequently not controlled, what companies that control our waterways and the quality of our waterways can ultimately do and put in there. And so unfortunately it makes, you know, things like sports, things that we do for enjoyment, political. And I've been thinking about burnout a lot because of the Dirty Business TV show that was on Channel 4. And I found it particularly heavy. And I think as somebody who, again, has worked in the nature conservation space, has been campaigning for years, I've found it really difficult to have the same energy for activism throughout. And I think particularly with this, where it was so heavy, I've also not too long ago seen the film Joe in the Water, which is about a lady called Jo who lives in Exmouth, and she is taking South West Water to court.
Yes, I have seen this. Well, I haven't seen but I've seen the like social trails.
And the thing is, so I think there's, to those of us who are already in the space of water and pollution, it's not a new story to us, but there is a lot of new stuff coming out regularly. And I read, as a part of my own burnout process, I've been reading a book called Career Come Down by Stephanie Sword Williams. And it's really helped me through my burnout process. And in it, she uses a term called care out, which is coined to describe the exhaustion, guilt, and burnout women feel, particularly from constantly caring for others, whether that's other professionals, family, friends, often at the expense of their own well-being. And it made me really think about burnout and care out for people in the open water space, particularly when it's something that people come to help their mental health and to help their physical health. Mm-hmm. There's a huge guilt if you also feel like you're not caring enough about some of these things, particularly when in our bubble of open water swimming, people are talking about it so much, despite the fact that it's also a radical act to take care of yourself and look after yourself in these spaces. And I think it's also made so much harder because so many people have their own personal stories of being ill as well.
Yep.
And so you start talking about it and suddenly it all comes out. I mean, I've got my own story. Becca, do you have a story of having
We
been
all know I've got a
ill?
story.
Yeah.
The North Sea up in the northeast. If you're not aware, I live in Sunderland, and like we had the national, what's it? The national not national world championship triathlon back in, I think it was 2022 or 2021, and a big percentage of the triathletes got ill from it. And it was all over the BBC News, it was all over this, and the council going, no, it wasn't our fault, it's just, triathletes being triathletes. And I even remember brushing it off at the time. No, but genuinely, I remember
Wow.
the whole swim community brushing it off at the time, being like, oh, well, they're athletes and they're not used to swimming in the water. Like, they're just not.
Yeah.
And that was something that we were all told. It was just like, oh, they're just superior beings that aren't used to being in dirty water, whereas we swim in it all the time and we don't get ill. And it's like, that shouldn't have even been part of the conversation. It should have been why have these people got ill? And yes, it did come to bite me in the arse, because in 2022 it wasn't, it was the start of 2023 I got ill, because I was coming back from, well, it was my first swim in. So this is how it feels. It was the first swim in after I broke my foot. So it'd been a while, and I was like, I'm just going to go and float. I'm not going to put my earplugs in. I'm just going to get in. And then I just had ear infection after ear infection after ear infection, and then had to go, and because of all my other stuff, I had to go for loads of different tests. And then they were like, oh, MRSA in my ears. And they were just like, wonder how that's happened, unless you've been swimming in sewage. And I was like,
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
I mean, like, that's one story. That was one that actually I then I wasn't able to swim for 6 months because I wasn't wearing earplugs.
Yeah.
And then it became it was because the swimmer wasn't wearing earplugs. It wasn't because
People are illegally dumping sewage in our waterways. It's not. It becomes a you problem.
It's a you problem. Are you swimming in the water? Well, it's your problem. Are you checking that there's been a sewage outlay? It's your problem. It's never, well, it is now, but it was one of those things that it was just like, oh, it's dirty water. We'll just check when it's on. I mean, I've been in Clevedon Marine Lake. This was years ago, by the way. But I'm sure it still happens. And I ended up getting a condom on the finger. It was horrific. Like, properly swimming through.
That feels like a violation.
It was a violation. And it was just like, what on earth? Like, and then it wasn't until you swam once, swam twice, and I was like, what the fuck's okay? And then you're seeing like sanitary pad, tampon. You're like, get out, get out, get out, get out. And I didn't have anything from that, because I was very much like, I was in very short amount of time, got out, got hot water on me quickly, which you're definitely not meant to do, but I was like, contagion. So it was one of those things that I think as swimmers for so long, like I've been swimming since 2018 outside, and I think for so long we've just gone, yeah, well, it's just is what it is. We're swimming outside. We know what we're getting into. But I don't think I started taking it seriously, like properly seriously, until I started volunteering with the SEAL unit up in the northeast, because the horror stories that are coming in through just from human interaction, human interaction, the amount of rubbish that is in our sea just because we're able to do kind of autopsies and things of animals.
Yeah.
And the amount of rubbish that we're seeing, it shouldn't be there. It makes you so, and it comes back to this care out thing, because I had to step back from my voluntary position, because I was very much in there kind of once, twice a week, and seeing it's the human race and how much we are impacting the world around us. I was like, I don't know whether I can do that on top of all my other stuff. I can come back, and I do parts intermittently, especially when it comes to documenting and content, but it's hard. It's really hard to care when nothing will change unless the people at the top do something. And I think there is, I mean, I don't want it to be all doom and gloom, because there is stuff we can do on the ground level up, which is starting to happen now. And the fact that we've got a documentary and the fact that people are talking about it, it's a great sign. And the campaigning that Surfers Against Sewage do is incredible. It's just,
Absolutely.
it's absolutely something that if people don't start getting together, we don't build that community of this is what can happen when people get together. That Channel 4 can put a 4-part documentary series on about it. It's definitely going in the right direction. Still got a hell of a long way to go, but it's still making sure that we're doing what we can within our boundaries and trying not to judge ourselves too much for when we can't.
Exactly. I knew it was an issue. Took it, signed the petitions, did the bits and pieces here, otherwise worked in the conservation sector. And I got ill last year. Lindsay Cole, who is a monofin swimmer, so she swims with, honestly, it's a massive fin. I thought I was going to get knocked out by it at one point. And we went for a swim down the River Avon in practice for her longest monofin swim attempt. And I got quite seriously ill. I was throwing up for like 2 days. And this was only because we'd done this swim, I then got really ill, and then I was due to swim Lake Annecy only a few days after that. Mm-hmm. So I just about managed to get onto the flight in terms of, I was like, I think I can just about do it. Didn't throw up or anything, but I was barely like eating any food or anything, which is terrible fueling for ahead of a swim. Yep. Had a day or two in Annecy, again, trying to enjoy the sights, enjoy some sun, fill myself up with food, and then swam Lake Annecy, and it was hot. And also, Lake Annecy, if you're not familiar, it is near to the Swiss border of France, and it is honestly gorgeous. And in Lake Annecy, they used to have the same issues, the same sort of pollution issues we're currently having with Lake Windermere. So, yeah. But back in like the 70s or 80s, and they actually did something about it. They redirected all the sewage treatment centres and things further away, so all of the sewage in the area doesn't go near the lake, and consequently it got loads better. Shock. Now, in fact, it was so clean, I was drinking it because I was really thirsty because it was such a hot swim. I was drinking it as I went, and it was about 15 kilometres long as a swim, and I didn't get ill. It was so refreshing and nice. Honestly, so clear blue.
It was, every swimmer I speak to, they're like, Lake Annecy is the one. They're just so incredible.
Honestly gorgeous. I thought it wasn't that deep because it was just so intensely blue. And I was like, oh, it can't be that deep. But you go in and then you see like a leaf go past or something, and it's like meters away, but you can see it so crystal clear and perfectly. And you're like, oh shit, it's really deep. Oh shit, it's so deep. But there's just nothing. I mean, if anything, it's like you don't have it's not like Coniston where, you've got loads of reeds that you can see and things. And I really like Coniston. I'm a big fan. Apart from the duck lice, they can fuck off. But in Lake Annecy, it was just, I'd highly recommend it to anyone because it was just so wonderful. And they serve great cheese. There's some good cheese around there.
I'm going in September. I'm not doing the swim, but I'll be on the boat while Michael does the swim.
Yeah, you can enjoy a good boulangerie.
Yeah.
That was what we were doing every day to a bakery. It was.
I'm doing it with we're doing it with Leon and Swim Your Swim, so it's literally going to be a jolly for me on the boat as well. So. Yeah.
Oh, it was just gorgeous. The day after, I was like, I didn't get to enjoy it enough, so we hired a little boat to go out onto the lake for a couple of hours before it got too hot in the day, and it was just wonderful. We just got some like picky bits to like snack on, and we were just jumping in the water, and it was just so fresh, gorgeous. Yeah, I thought it'd be really cold. It was actually like 24 degrees, and this was July last year. Jeez. It was quite warm, but it was just like a tale of two wildly different swims where the River Avon, it was just like, and I knew there were points where Lindsay had said, try not to like take in any water in these areas where there was like runoff from farms. There were cows in the water.
Yeah.
There was a point where we saw cows in the water, and there was a point where I was like, I think that's a sewage outflow, and I think it's actually spewing sewage right in front of us. Yeah. And I was suddenly like, I didn't put my head in for a bit because I was like, I don't feel comfortable right now. But obviously that wasn't enough. And when I came out, I had a Coke because everyone says, oh, You see what it can do to a coin? It'll do that to your stomach with all the germs. Yeah, obviously not.
Not to those germs.
No, definitely not to those germs. But like, honestly, I was throwing up like bile. That's not something that I usually have ever really dealt with.
Yeah.
But honestly,
I was
it
the
was
same after doing
bad.
these. I don't know whether they still do it. The Wild Y swim. It's a seven and
Oh,
a half
okay.
k down
Yeah.
the Y, and it's notorious. I think it's chicken farms all along Y, but
Yeah.
it's basically been the death of the Y. The year I did it, you could still see some grass along the bottom, and there was still a little bit of life, but we all knew about the pollution. Everyone saying, drink half a can before you get in, half a can after you get out. If you're going to eat anything, wash your hands. Like, if that is the advice being given, why on earth are we doing the swim? But that was just how it was. And then you're doing it, and basically I was doing it with a group of friends as well. Half of us got ill, half of us didn't. I got ill. I lost my job because I was so ill. Yeah, I know, it was bad.
What? Wait.
I got really ill, and I was on a like a short contract TV thing,
Okay.
and yeah, oh my God, it was bad. It was one of those things where then we figured out that half of us had stopped at a feeding station, and we'd had food, so we'd actually eaten
Yeah.
the water that we were taking in. And yeah, I think that was 5 days. I couldn't, yeah, it was horrific. Just absolutely horrific. And then because the work job was only, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks, but it was a really like introspective archive piece. And yeah, they were like, don't bother coming back. They were an
Yeah.
awful company as well, but we won't
Well,
drag them through the mud.
all things happen for a reason, you know?
They do. Yeah. I literally got the shit, so I didn't have to deal with their shit. So that's it.
Silver linings, if
I don't
anything,
know.
though.
But that's the thing; it's so
Goodness.
normalized, isn't it? I would hazard a bet that every outdoor swimmer has one of these stories. That
Yeah.
have been if you've been doing it for more than 2 seasons, you will have had some element of a stomach bug or something along the way, and it's just really sad
Yeah.
because we get so much from the water. And for me, it's all about the flora and fauna who don't have a voice, that have just been dealing with our shit for so long. But I think we've all it's got to that point that it's so normal in terms of getting ill because we're doing something extreme that it's just really sad. And I think for me, I'm much more angry that it's more acceptable that the flora and fauna that are out there are just taking it.
Yeah.
It's not until you include people getting ill and it's just not okay. In the North Sea, it's absolutely atrocious, and it's one of those things where the list of flora and fauna that are affected is really sad, and it makes me sad. And yeah, it's just what to do next, isn't it? It's like the more we shout about it, the more we talk about it, but then it comes down to people being oversaturated with it, like for instance the Channel 4 documentary, and not being able to consume it because it's maybe too hard hitting. But then at the same time, if it's not hard hitting enough, is anyone going to listen? And then if it's too
And is it worth
entertaining,
making either? Yeah.
and then it's like, well, what's the solution? And I think that's the continual. I mean, I suppose that's activism in general. It's like you just have to continually drudge through at a pace that feels comfortable.
Yeah. And certainly
Which
in advocacy campaigning that I do, I've always tried, because I mean ultimately people watch the news and get burnt out because it doesn't empower you. And I've always tried to, in my work, always have something on the back of it that you are encouraging someone to do. You are, because just having the information makes people sad or mad. You need people to go away and think, okay, there's something I can actually do here. There's stuff that can happen to make change happen. And it's so difficult, particularly where, so much has already been done. It is getting to the stage where the general public are like, well, what more can we do? What is there? Do
And
I
I
just
think-
continue getting ill? Is that
Yeah.
really it?
I think it's one of these things where we have to check how much energy we have
Yeah.
how much money we have, how much time we have, and then see what we can do within those limitations. Because when I've done talks in the past and we talk about outdoor swimming, for me, for the longest time, I've always said that I want to give back to the place that has given me so much. So that's how I started and how I became a BDMLR, so British Divers Marine Life Rescue Mammal Medic, to help seals and cetaceans in the local area, because that was my way of giving back. And then when it kind of became too much, as it were, in terms of the mental load of the just human destruction, that I've started to step back a bit, but I'm coming back into it now because we're starting to film more of it and trying to get the word out a bit more. So we're kind of coming back round after I've been doing this for years now. And you just think, is there something in my locality that feels right to me, that I have the time to do it, that I might have the money to, because some people have money and that's easier to be like, okay, you know what, I'm going to give £10 a month to Surfers Against Sewage, or I'm going to do this. And that's what I am able to do right now because I don't have the time. And I also don't, there's other currencies at play. And I think that that's the same. It's like, can you do a beach clean? And people go, well, that doesn't help anybody. Yeah, but it does. Before Christmas, I was walking the pier every day to clear fishing line, because fishing line was really becoming it is everywhere, but entanglements with seals, with wildlife, with fauna, like it's insane. So I was trying to have these conversations with fishermen about the importance of clearing up tackle and all this sort of stuff, and no one knew I was doing that. No one, that's not something that until now that I'm sharing quite publicly, but that's something really small in your local area that will make a difference, because you have no idea where that bit of tackle or that line is going to end up, usually entangled on something. And if it hasn't done it yet, it will in the future. So that was just that's an example of something that I was able to do, a walk along the beach and just do a really nice something for me too, as well as picking up things that could cause harm in the future. So I think if you feel like you're helpless in something, finding something locally that makes you feel a bit better, or that you're making a difference, can help. And it really can. You might not be seeing it, but there will be somebody somewhere that will be impacted by a little action of kindness.
Exactly. Absolutely. I love the work of a lady called Sarah Corbett, who does what's called craftivism.
Ooh.
It's particularly for people like I have more of an introverted preference at times. So going and shouting on a megaphone, not necessarily my vibe. I've been to protests, been to marches, but something that I really find helps connect me with what I'm doing is actually craftivism. So in the past, I've knitted a scarf to fit round a local ancient tree and sent that to my MP. And ancient trees, they can have a circumference of 5 meters at times. They're long, they're big fuckers. And so if you're then sending that to somebody who isn't themselves going to go to that tree, but they're like, wow, this is massive. And that's going to be more impactful than things like an email. And so actually, it's like what you're saying,
cool.
Find that one little thing you can do that lends itself to what you can connect with, what impact you can have, and focus on that. I don't live particularly close to beaches a lot, and when I do go to them, I do try and pick litter, but I'm not close enough to be able to do that. So I love being able to do a bit of craftivism. In the past, even for marches and things, I dressed up an umbrella and I put a little hedgehog on the top and called it Gareth, because it was like Gareth Gates with spiky hair and whatever, circa 2002 or whatever. Whenever Gareth Gates was particularly popular. And I made it into a tree, and I took that to the Restore Nature Now march that happened just before the general election in 2024. And, was going along with that to be like, yes, it's like a walking woodland. Look, you're in London, you're in your nice fancy big offices. And if you're not going to come out to the woodlands are going to come to you.
Oh, that's nice.
I think there's so much great work people can do. And so please take this as a moment to think about what little impacts you can have, but certainly things that work for you and that also help energize you. Because I love creating, and being able to do things like that really lends itself to what also will help me long term. Because as I've been going through this process of being like, I'm leaving my job because of burnout, I'm not just going to then be like, oh, I'm going to throw myself into working flat out for the rest of my life still. I really want to take some time to sort of rediscover some hobbies. I've really found like an improv workshop that I'm going to try out.
Yes.
Just as a thing to really connect myself with being very present and being able to, you know, use my brain in a very different way, because that's not what I used to act when I was a child. I ended up on a Channel 4 show.
Oh my God, the law is getting better.
This is the law. Because obviously I love swimming. I'm going to actually just go for swims. I'm going to try and deliberately find time for swims that are not content creation related, not related to training, bringing joy and absorbing the moment, essentially. Also socializing outside of the movement. Because I've been so focused on content creation and swimming and also my work, I haven't necessarily like spent a huge amount of time with friends and family without discussing those things or involving those things. So having time away from those, and also making sure then that I celebrate wins, and, you know, however small those victories are, whether that is, you know, focusing on that little thing that I know I can do for the wider movement, for sure, doing that. But yeah, making sure that there's like that sense of hope coming through constantly as well.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear. I feel like we do this with cold water hot takes. We get to the end and we're like, is there a hot take? I think it's probably looking after yourself, making sure that, you know, don't...
That a hot take every episode.
I know. We're like, is that really a hot... I know.
No, you've already had the hot take. The hot take is effectively, you can, you know, activism doesn't have to be this sort of thing that leads us to burnout. It is something that we can take in little bits, and activism looks different for everybody.
Yeah, and looking after yourself is a part of that activism too, because ultimately if you want to see these positive changes happening, making sure that you're actually in the right frame of mind to be able to do it, because it's hard. We're trying to change the minds of people who are being paid fuck tons of money to be able to make these bad decisions for the planet. Like, that's not easy.
Yeah.
But yes, look after yourself.
Look after yourself. It's unrelenting, but the bastards can't win all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So, it is time.
Yes!
I won't bother tying my hair back today.
It's just happening. But to be honest, that's actually how they do it, isn't it? They just put it on top of their head.
Yeah. The thing is, it looks like I'm just like an Albert Einstein. All right, so we are here at the Changing Room Council. So this one is all about lane etiquette. So a lot of us have been confined to the chlorine prison over the last few months as we wait for it to get warm enough to be able to train outside again on a regular basis. So this question is, how do you cope with people having awful pool lane etiquette, like kicking off straight in front of you when they're slower than you? Knock them out. What?
That seems to be your go-to for everything. Knock them out, do this. I think pool etiquette's so bad. Like, some of it's just, oh, mate, just so bad.
It puts me off swimming sometimes. This is why I go first thing in the morning as well.
Well, this is why
I think about it too much.
But this is why I always tend to pick the 50-metre, because we're very blessed in Sunderland because we've got a 50-metre pool. And 50-metre, when it's on, because they'll half it as well and put two 25 metres on, but they don't often have the 50-metre on because it's not as popular, because people don't want to do the longer lengths. They prefer the 25. So in a 50-metre, I don't usually get anyone being weird. But yeah, I'm never also the person that's getting, I'm usually the person getting overtaken in the slow lane even. So yeah, God, my brain, I don't know where it's going.
But I mean, do you kick off in front of other people?
That's the thing, innit? I think it depends on so hang on, it was that they were pushing off just as you got there, was it?
Yeah, I think it's like yeah, they're essentially like when, because I sometimes have it when someone's slower than me in front of me, they then will either stop at the lane or just carry on going, even though I'm right behind them.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
me, if I'm on one of my slower days, even slower days, if I know someone's up my jacksie, I am stopping and letting
Yeah.
them overtake. Like that's just, isn't that just
It
the
literally,
norm?
it's a few seconds, isn't it? Nobody's overtaking someone slowly. It's literally stop at the end, let them go, maybe give them 2 seconds of breathing room, and then you're off. 5 seconds max at times. Honestly find it so strange. It's got to be like an ego thing for sure. Because I just never do that to somebody else.
But it's an ego thing, but it's also an uncomfortable thing.
Yeah.
For me, I always just I get really self-conscious if there's someone behind me, even if they're a couple of strokes
Yeah.
behind. So for me, if I'm in a pool, I'll stop at the end, and usually there's only two or three people in a lane. I'll stop at the end, even if someone's halfway, and be like, "Oh God, they're too close," and then let them pass, just in case they're on some sort of superset. But in the meantime, ruining my training session, and you're just like, "Oh God, there's such a level of like."
Yeah.
I think it's just trying to be a better human, and at the same time, if they are, if they're really annoying you, I'd say something, because like we can all be British about it and be like, "Oh God, it's really uncomfortable, and the lane etiquette's shit in my pool." It's like, well, have you done anything about it? Have you spoken to the other person in your lane? Because I would like to think they're not aware they're doing it.
Yes, they're not doing it deliberately.
Yeah, that's the word. And yeah, I think I'd have a word with them. Or just, it doesn't have to be something abrasive. It can just be, do you realise you're doing this?
Exactly.
Or could you give me a second? Or you could go ahead of me? Or, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Because I end up, if I see somebody doing this, like, because I'm very lucky that the pool I go to, or the place I go, has an indoor pool and an outdoor pool. But as I'm going, if somebody then doesn't, I will do quite an aggressive overtake.
Uh-huh.
But I know that I can, when I'm going from my like endurance pace, if I'm there for a long time, I know I've got the pace to be able to do that, and I can switch it on. I shouldn't have to do that in the first place if somebody else is being a dickhead.
Yeah. So yeah, I suppose that's the council's ruling is have a word.
Yeah. And
Have a
also
word.
like the answer to how do you cope is we don't, evidently. I don't think
We don't,
anyone does.
because the other option is find another pool, like which hopefully is not the case. But like, oh God, I can't remember who I was talking to somebody about. I mean, there's so many bad stories. I mean, and especially since starting this podcast, the amount of bad stories that are coming in about pool etiquette or bad experiences in a pool is quite astonishing. Like one person has said that they've had a guy swim underneath them, face up, wink, and then carry on. And I quite like
on that man. Stand on him. Don't let him back up.
No, if you're a cute seal in open water, you can get away with that. If you are a human being, there is no way you should be swimming under or over somebody, which I thought was just general as it is, but apparently not.
That's actually horrific.
I know. And that's the thing, I think. And like some people who like the tap of the feet, some people don't like the tap of the feet. And I've seen on social media recently, they're like, this is pool etiquette and this is what you should do. If somebody taps you on your feet, then you should let them overtake. No. If somebody's touching my feet, I'm going to kick harder. Like, I don't care if that's what you do at Masters. I'm not going to Masters. I'm just in the pool. Any sort of touching, no, thank you. Unless I know you, I do not want you touching me. So that's just my little take on that whole thing that seems to be doing the rounds.
I concur with that though, because I never really did swim. I didn't do swim club as a kid. Like I learned to swim and I'd go on holiday and swim and that was about it. But otherwise I've always been in like lane sessions and I don't feel it's appropriate to touch people in those.
I think that should be the norm. And I don't see, if I'm really going that slowly, just go around me.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if the case is that someone's in the middle of the lane, taking up the whole lane and you can't get past them, then you just have to wait until they get to the end. There's no, like, we've all been there. I had one guy the other week who was doing butterfly down the middle of the lane. I was like, who do you think you are? Like, there's 4 other people in this lane. and you're just doing butterfly, even when people are coming the other way, and you're like, oh God, this is so insane. Like if you're doing butterfly, you're going to have to really, anyway, I'm not getting into it. See, this is what happens. The swimming pool rage just like boils up.
Oh, exactly. Honestly, no, I'm getting annoyed now.
Yeah, no. So the
We do not cope.
the answer is we don't cope. We have a word. If they continue to do it, maybe send a complaint in. And if the complaint isn't received, move pool. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Agreed.
God, we just want an easy life. We're all human. Just be kind to each other, please.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. All right. It is time to shed your sins.
To the watery abyss.
To the watery abyss. Send us your confessions to commit to the watery abyss and free you of judgment and
I need to add some
watery
in.
guilt. Becca, please come to us with something to commit to the watery abyss.
So the first one I've got, years ago when I was still in uni, I wanted to start swimming. So I went to the only pool in town and started trying. One day, a friend accompanied me, and as we were walking out, she gasped in horror. I hadn't realised, but the bum of my swimming costume had become so threadbare you could see full crack and everything. It was almost as if I wasn't wearing anything at all. I'd been trying to not drown in a pool for weeks with my bare ass crack on full display. I never went back and stopped swimming for years.
I mean, the people at the swimming pool are not the one, because they said absolutely nothing.
Right,
Like,
so
as a fellow woman, I would have said something.
yes. That's the first thing. I would also say, I think if you're swimming with a mate, then surely were you swimming with the mate the entire time? Because that's just, that mate needs to be committed to the abyss if that was the case.
I can imagine that exactly, like how that can be so embarrassing, though.
And the fact that if you're doing front crawl as well, then like I'm quite floaty. So is your butt just out the entire time? Yeah. I mean, I think I'm just making this confession worse for this person at this point. No. I apologise. We'll committed to the abyss. You never have to think about it again. We'll free. We've rid you of all embarrassment that you ever felt, even though you don't need to feel it. It's not your fault. It's not your fault that you bought an awful swimming costume that was probably very old.
No. And we're glad that you are back to the water.
Exactly. There you go. You've come back through adversity and you've made it through.
Exactly.
You got another one?
So this one says, last summer, when I started my outdoor journey, I completely forgot to bring a change of clothes with me. I'd been driving there in my costume because it was summer. I had to walk from the showers to my car and then drive home completely butt naked in a tiny hand towel, barely able to cover my torso, let alone anything else.
What a nightmare.
I mean, could you not wear your swimming costume back?
Yeah, but it'd be wet.
Yeah, but you could put like the towel down on the car seat, and if it's summer, it'll all evaporate anyway. That's what I would just be like, this is it. I've come here in this, I'm leaving in this. That's what I would. But that's because hand towels do not cover my torso. So that is why I
don't think a hand towel would cover a boob on me, to be fair. Like, what on earth?
But yes, no, do not worry. That is committed to the watery abyss. Do not feel any guilt. It's summer. Everyone should basically be naked anyway. Wait, well, no. Okay, I'm not saying that. That's not what I mean.
Oh, so good. So good. Oh my God. Right, what's the next one? Let me have a look. Oh, yeah. Just to commit. I mean, I feel like this is just a regular for anybody who has any sort of boobage. Tits falling out with embarrassingly regular frequency, usually ice swimming. Yeah.
What is it about ice swimming? Presumably they're wearing the same swimming costumes in the summer as they are in winter. Is there something about the ice that makes the tit go?
I mean, maybe it's something to do with cold. Yeah, sure.
Maybe like they change their stroke when it's cold and they don't realise.
Yes.
I don't know. Regardless, it's obviously committed to the watery abyss as also a fellow tit popper.
I am a fellow tit popper as well. It's not great. It's just costumes do not just wrangle the tit enough.
No, they just sometimes manufacturers. It seems to be like they will go for this is the smallest size, and we'll just add on a few inches in different places, and having no thought to the fact that certain areas on women will grow more than others when they are larger sizes.
And we'll give more
Wild.
momentum when we're swimming as well,
Yes,
in terms of swingage. That's all. That's a hot take in itself, I think.
well, exactly. Yeah, watch out for the swingage.
Yeah, watch out for the swingage. And I'll just do the last one.
Go for it.
The time someone stole my swimming costume as I was getting changed. I don't think they meant to, but they picked it up, and I was like, "Great, what the fuck do I do now?" I think, is that pre or post?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. Yeah, because I suppose that's because if it's afterwards, it's like, what do I do now? I'll ask at reception. I can go home and I might have another one. Yeah. Whereas if you're getting changed to go, you're like, ooh.
Either way, commit that to somebody somewhere.
Commit theft.
Yeah, commit theft.
Theft, crime.
And it's like so a friend of mine used to work for, well, actually I'll just say her name, Ro, used to work for Deacon and Blue, and she had like a custom Deacon and Blue made in colours for her, like it was part of a sample or something. And she somehow was getting dressed after, and somebody nicked it. So she's not sure where it went or what happened to it, but somebody's taken it, but they obviously can't wear it at Clevedon, because if you're seen in a custom Deacon and Blue, then they're going to know you nicked it.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was a strange one of people actually
swimsuit
thieving.
stoppers. We need to find the people committing these crimes.
Who is stealing these swimming costumes?
Yes. This has been quite a heavy episode, hasn't it?
I know. I feel like we've talked about so many different things.
Yeah. And hopefully in a good way. I hope people are coming from this feeling they're not alone. Yeah. And there's loads of things that they can do. I mean, obviously message us if ever you want to talk to somebody as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's on to episode 5. My goodness.
We're doing really well.
We are. Pat on the back for us, mate. There we go.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, and have a wonderful week.
Yes, hopefully it's full of swimminess and loveliness.
I love that. Goodbye.
Bye.